Welcome, good afternoon. Jason Roski with the KC Auction Company here with an amazing auction, one of the largest we've done, one of the most diverse we've done for sure, with amazing things, regular things, and just things you don't ever see. So let's go ahead and start here in the corner. We'll work around this room, head upstairs. Wonderful Art Nouveau tile backsplash washstand right here, mahogany, beveled shaped mirror, very cool. This piece on top of those is pretty awesome. It's a sounding bowl. Just a really cool, fun thing we just like to play with it here in the office because it's pretty. One of the better Mission Oak arts and crafts bookcases we've ever sold. Oh, that was closer in. Great size, beautiful patina, great condition. A lot of this furniture came from a house in Waldo here in Kansas City. Had been collected over 30 or 40 years, and he passed away, and we are working with the rest of the estate now. Beautiful door, beautiful cabinet, just a wonderful, wonderful piece. This auction has a lot of lamps. I'm going to point this pair out here. The pair of, I guess they're not swans, they're winged, well, I guess they could be swans, but they're dolphins, but kind of a mythological. Well, look at the tail. That's not a bird's tail. It's a reptilian tail. So are they dragons? That'd be cool. But whatever you want to call them. Metal shades on them, very, very cool, very nice things. Across the entryway here, another marble top black splash. 1860s, 1880s time frame. Just a really nice usable piece, great small size. This is actually a bronze here. She's very heavy. In 1880s French. This came out of an estate in Lawrence. Clients of ours for years, or customers of ours for years. They moved back to France and they chose us to sell a lot, including her and some other furniture that we'll get to and pieces along those lines. As I work into the East Gallery over here, just things, I'll show you the other one. We have a couple of inlaid violins. I'll show you the other one more closely in a second because it has more work on it. Where am I back? Oh, nice quarter sawn oak file cabinet. Don't see many of these around anymore. We see them quite regularly, but this is just a really nice shape, a nice example one. Really nice furniture. I love this pair of contemporary side tables. Has like a shagreen top with a brushed brass finish. Not sure who made them. Just really high quality, good look. Again, out of the Lawrence estate. Love the pair of 1940s wrought iron chairs. Nice little simple backs on them. Scroll arms. Again, 1940s, 1950s. Just really nice patio furniture. The Frank Gehry style cardboard lamp. Again, this is something I used to see quite regularly when I was out running around 20 years ago, 25 years ago, buying and selling. I haven't seen one anywhere for probably 5 years now. And they're such a neat accent piece in a home. And as you know, if you've been decorating or living in a house for a long time, finding good lamps is really much harder than people think it's going to be. And that one has just a great look to it. Right in front of William down there is this, not a pair, but like a set. We're selling them separately. Late 19th century Chinese game tables, lacquered finishes on them. Tops open up. Just really nice little side tables. If you wanted to make it a little bit more usable, you could put glass tops on them so you can use them for more flat surface and have kind of a hidden storage in there. Be kind of fun. Coming back this way, some French furniture. But a lot of this French furniture is out of an estate up at Clay Como. In a really 1960s split level, 70 split level house. But this woman's grandfather was an antique dealer from Platte City 40 or 50 years ago, and she acquired many of those pieces from the estate. There's quite a bit of Asian arts in this auction, ceramics, carvings, things like that. And this here is just a wonderful example. Looks like it's a good early piece. You see, it's all nice hand-worked, hand-painted, great decoration. Juan Lee, I believe, is the style for sure. The age, we're not 100% sure, but it's definitely 19th century. But a great form, great size, great color, and great condition. Excuse me. It's a nice artwork throughout the auction, interesting pieces. 1947, Alex Derry, at least is a Massachusetts artist and scene. But nice birch trees with the stream running through there. Clearly signed. We love when artists clearly sign and date their works. There's no mistaking that's an Alex Deary because it's written like a third grader wrote it. That the teacher's like, make sure I can read your signatures or you'll get credit for your homework. An unexpected piece is this beautiful late Victorian 1860s, 1880s mahogany corner shelf. Love the big carving on the back. Let me move this out of the way here so really you can get a close up on the beautifully carved apron on the back. There's a shell in the corner, the curled tails coming out of the swirl. Just beautifully executed, very, very elegant, great condition. Obviously holds a lot of objects, collections, things like that. Don't get too excited. It's just a decorative Gallet lamp. It's signed Gallet, but it is not Gallet. But it is a really pretty cameo glass lamp. Not cheap still. Love the geese on there. Nicely formed, nicely executed. But it is not an original. I know we just sold an original Tiffany lamp a month ago. That's not an original Gallet. Spelter, big Spelter figure on top of a marble pedestal. We have 1, 2, 3, 4 marble pedestals in this auction, I believe, which is always kind of fun to have. Really nice Mission Oak Arts and Crafts buffet with beveled glass mirror on the back. Again, these were so common a few years ago. We used to see them all the time, get calls on them. This is the first one we've had to sell in about 2 years. And this one's very nice, good condition, great hardware on it. Just a really nice example. Let's talk about these things in front here real quick, Will. Some really nice Chinese pieces right here. These are, I think most everything in this little vignette is from Lawrence, the Lawrence estate. Lived right on the golf course over there. Again, this family's moving to Paris, or to France. Love this pair of Chinese stands. Very, very delicate. But just a great, put them anywhere, use them on top of a table, on top of a buffet, and put little vases on top. Really wonderful nesting table, set of 4 nesting tables, highly carved, great condition. There is some fading on the smallest of the 4. It was sitting in front of a window off the golf course, but still very, very nice. Here's the other violin I was mentioning about before. Collector brought in 2 of these, and this one has little inlay on the neck, inlay around the edges, but also check out the back of this. All this mother of pearl inlay, exotic woods, just a really nice piece. Beautifully crafted. I didn't even notice the birds down here on the tailpiece. Very, very sweet, very nice. I'm going to put the fancy side up for the next look. So let me swing around here. Nice pair of chairs. Over here in the corner, I have a nice pair of Seminier, the 7-drawer lingerie chests, French marble top, 1920s, 1930s era. There's a large collection of Japanese woodblocks in the auction. Several of them hanging. Several of them are on folders. They're shungai, which is erotic Japanese woodblocks. We don't have them open for display, but still very nice. The pottery collection, it's always interesting how this works out. We have the arts and crafts furniture and things like that. We have a collection of Roseville, Rookwood, Van Briggle, and others, but they're from different estates. But this Roseville Jordan pedestal in the blue iris pattern, beautiful size, love this blue on it, and the Jordan pads you just don't see very often in this kind of a condition. We'll show you more Roseville in just a bit. Beautiful 1830s Biedermeier Secretary Habitant. This is a fun little piece, a little marble entry or side table, very nice. Beautiful gilded carved mirror. This is spectacular though. Again, from Lawrence, I think everything on here except for the Dresden piece is. Beautiful French antique carved gilded entry table, side table, demaloon table. It's actually attached to the wall. It does stand on its own, but we just felt much more secure having it attached to the wall. These stone type little pedestals, one appears to be much earlier than the other, but they're carved differently. I said one of them appears to be much earlier than the other. I didn't say which was which, because I'm just rolling. But they're very nice, very unusual, again, out of the Lawrence estate. Beautiful French mirror. Again, this one shows so much better in person than it does in the pictures. Has that perfect gilded finish to it. The red is showing through. You can see where the leaves, the 24 karat leaves were overlaid, the little seams where they did that. Just a beautiful mirror, great size, great shape, and perfect for your home. I love the big Dresden urn here. It's been restored, has restorations, but very, very nice. This is the first of the items from the Picard collection. We'll talk about this more upstairs. Dr. Picard lived in Mission Hills here in Kansas City. He was actively involved with Nelson from the earliest days. He was friends with Dr. Sickman, traveled with him, created the Fellows of the Nelson Society, donated works there. When the estate was originally distributed, pieces sold through Christie's in New York. These are items the granddaughter is consigned for us to sell. Everything he collected has just a different look, feel, and quality to it, and was collected 50 to 100 years ago at this point. So been around for quite some time. Very, very nice. Very interesting, very great pair of wrought iron gates here, or it's a gate, but it's a pair. It's both sides of a big gate. Nicely worked. Another Mission Oak Arts and Crafts little side desk right there. Not side desk, but smaller desk. Brass beds. We also have a dozen or so Oriental rugs in the auction, ranging in quality and size and that stuff. This one's a very finely woven rug here. This one to my right, dated 1887, I believe, in the weave, signed, and lots of really curious little figures throughout. There's some that are obviously birds or people or whatever, but there are some you're like, what is that thing supposed to be? Make sure you look through all the pictures to see what that is. It's just really, really fun. We also have some things that you don't expect to see in antique auctions, or you might not have expected to see in the past. An old rain lamp. This was working in the house, moved it here. The motor still runs, but it's not pumping the oil up. We filled it with oil. The light works, it's just not plugged in right now. But these have become extremely popular, and we're kind of excited to offer that. There's a little cabinet right behind you, Will. Stacking bookcases are always nice, and this one here's a nice Mission Oak stacking bookcase. This one has a little bit of wear to it. Could use a little bit of touch up here and there, but still, it's nice to have 3 stacks, top and bottom. Beautifully framed out doors are very, very nice as well. Another good mirror behind is another 19th century, actually it's an early 19th century mirror. The mirror itself is 2 panels, which is very common in early pieces. Another one of the marble pedestals here, as soon as Willie gets done with that. You can see the nice Egyptian revival looks on there. This is a great pedestal right here, folks. Nice little gilt bronze. Fittings on it all over the place. Shaped top, bronze foot. 4 nice little display cabinets all selling individually. You can see we have Victorian art glass, little collection of piano babies. First piece of silver crest, African figures on top. The drum is pretty cool. But you can see here we have more of the blue iris collection. The 4 pots down there in the bottom 2 shelves are selling together. They've all either have damage and or restorations. Nice big pots up top though. And also we have some really interesting Van Briggle. We'll show you more of this as we go through, but these are just some nice pieces. Love the Lorelei vase. Some little flower frog sets, things like that. A lot of great little side tables. Love this one with the onyx inlaid top, the French porcelain jewelry on it, the little insets here on the legs all throughout. It's been painted more recently, but it's still a nice, good table. Willie, why don't you go to your right in front of this desk, and I'll stand right here with the side of it. This is from our clients in Lawrence. They bought it from us about a decade ago. This desk is a Michelin Tellerlet, I believe. It's the Thomas desk. This is a company that made pieces for the trade only. You couldn't buy this out of a shop, but just a beautifully constructed, wonderful piece. One of the more expensive desks we've ever offered or ever sold, and clients bought it from us about 10, 12 years ago as a customer, and they couldn't bring it back to France with them, so they chose us to sell this and everything else from them as we went along. On the west wall here, starting from the left, we have a really great Haitian painting. Obviously, it's Adam and Eve. Alberoy is the artist. He painted this image regularly. The ones I found online, this is probably the most executed, fully executed Adam and Eve of his I've seen, and his work is pretty popular, pretty desirable. So take a look at that if you're like collecting or dealing in art. A couple of nice Mission Oak desks. There's 3 Mission Oak desks of this type in the auction, all in good quality, good condition. This piece here is really fun. I believe this is the Limbert footstool, right, Will? Yeah, has the good Limbert label on there. Little heart cutout, very nice. Little handled seat, nice little leather. Leather's been replaced, obviously, but you know, you don't find much signed Mission Oak anymore, and so we're happy to have that. A lot of interesting lighting. I believe this piece is newer, but it has a great look. This piece, I believe, is a good antique lamp, but we have others throughout the auction. Van Briggle is one of the more popular products we've been selling lately, and this is a piece I'd never seen before. I was surprised that it was Van Briggle, but it clearly is, and excited about that. I forget the name, but it's a great, 3 Grace. It is? I thought the 3 Graces wrapped around, or twisted around. Okay. Okay, very cool. And then we have a couple of these larger Van Briggle flower frogs and bowl sets. Indian maiden with the big flower frog with the frog on it. The frog on the frog. More good lamps. This piece here, 1830. I'm going to take it off the wall in just a second. 1838. It's painted by Weng Lo, and we know that because of the letter attached to that from the Picard estate. So obviously there's a connection or quality we expect from there. But you can see on the back, there's a letter from, let me make sure the name correct, Thomas Lawton, who is the director of the Freer Gallery of Art at the Smithsonian. And in 1983, Thomas Lawton came through the Picard's house and looked at this and another piece that is, I don't know if it's still in the family or not, but he told them that this is exactly, it's Weng Lo, Weng was a native of Wuchang in the Kangxi province, born in 1790 and died in 1848. And so it's pretty great to have somebody of Thomas Lawton's quality and notoriety look at something like this and tell them exactly what it was, have absolutely no qualms about saying that that is what it is, and just again, something that we're really excited and honored to be able to offer to you folks today. This, I almost walked right by. What's the piece that's getting the most interest so far is this. It's the Frank Lloyd Wright Sprite figure, has the original Wright label on the back. This is the full size one. There's smaller ones out there. This is the full size. You can see that it's almost as tall as I am, and it has the insert sheath or sword or whatever you want to call that. This came out of the same estate as the Rookwood and the Roseville. Little condo on the plaza. It is concrete. It is heavy. Don't come to expecting just pick it up and go. Don't come in a little car. But it's a really great piece, something you don't see very often. We've never seen another one. What was interesting is the condo, I was looking at it and I said, that looks like a Frank Lloyd Wright piece to me, or inspired. And it wasn't until we get to move it away from the wall and saw the label on the back. It's like, hot diggity dog, it is a Frank Lloyd Wright piece. So let's head on upstairs and take a look at what's up here. There's a couple of really, really amazing pieces in the showcases here. I'm excited to share with you in just a minute. I'm going to move this Bertoia chair out of the way as William comes up. So starting from the top, the Royal Hager Gazelles are such an iconic piece from the 80s, and we have one in black and in mauve. Longwy pottery. This is a Hawaiian artist, Koa bowl. I forget the artist's name. This is a Rookwood piece here, the Art Deco center bowl with the Art Deco women on it. This piece right here is very, very interesting. Alaskan or Canadian carved Inuit, the 5 sled dogs, the sled, the rider, accessories. The leather looks like it's from the 1950s or 60s. It has good age, very stylized, and to find a full set, very, very unusual. Very excited to offer that. Nice little French Boulet clock on the bottom. Pair of nice blue and white Chinese vases are very great. Sèvres, Silvercrest, really wonderful things in this cabinet. Over here, one of the rarest pieces we've ever sold. I'm going to pull it out here just real quick for William to zoom in on. Nice little collection of medals and other things from an estate in central Missouri. But the piece that is the most is the President Medal Ribbon. Can't turn it any more than that. It's going to slide. 1904 Olympics Presidential Medal, President's Medal. Very, very, very rare. There is one in the museum here in Missouri. Other similar medals have sold in the $10,000 to $20,000 range. There's one for sale online right now, $37,500 or something along those lines. We don't know what's going to bring, but it is by far the rarest piece of that we've ever offered, and excited to do so. Nice Amari piece. Here's another little rare piece from the same estate as the Olympic pieces. See these little tire ashtrays regularly, but this is the Clayton Cycle Company. Very unusual. Never seen one for a cycle company before. Out of St. Louis. Very, very cool. Love the Sterling mounted baton. It was given as a gift, I think, in 1897. Very sweet piece. Also love nice little piece of Gallet, little studio cabinet pot right there. The Daum winter vase is very nice. It's enamel decorated, but just a great size, beautifully decorated, and one of the better pieces of glass we've sold, for sure. On top here we have a nice pedal car, completely original finish. The band on top came from the Paul Messner puppets. We sold that many, many years ago as well. When Paul sold off his works, he contacted us. Our customers who bought that are moving and they have no place for the new home, and so they say, can you sell that? And we said, sure, it'd be a lot of fun to do that. This next cabinet has some really interesting pieces. Let me slide these out of the way a little bit. Starting at the top, on the top right, as William's looking at it, is the wonderful Mosier salamander-handled ewer. Beautiful color, beautifully decorated, nice enamel work, gilded work. And then anytime you incorporate a salamander on a piece of art glass, it's a pretty unusual, spectacular thing. Little label on the bottom still. Making sure I don't do anything silly with that. Wonderful. We believe it's a good antiquity piece on top. And you thought it was what, William? Etruscan era. Without having major tests done to it or things like that, we're not 100% sure, but it is not a cheap fake copy of any sort. It's been on that stand for quite some time. It's just a wonderful piece. Great presence. Good art glass on the top shelf. Very, very interesting pieces all the way throughout. And here on the bottom two shelves are a couple of the most interesting things we've offered. On this shelf right here, we have the pair of terracotta type pottery horse heads. One we believe is a good early piece. The other one we believe is a newer copy of it. Again, from the Picard estate. He was buying with Sickman at the same time, the same places. On the bottom is a pair of carved stone groomsmen with horses. We can't find any other pairs like this being sold in history. Doesn't mean that they haven't been, but we just haven't found them. Extremely well done, quite heavy. Obviously, they're stone. Some damage to them, but very, very nice. Other nice, the Japanese or the Chinese blue and white ginger jars are always popular. The large African mask. Let's go ahead and shut this door real quick. This little mission oak stool right here is pretty interesting. Pretty standard form, but check out the uprights. This has inlaid decoration running down the sides of the slats. Very unusual, but nicely finished. Works on the tops and everything like that. Another little small mission oak desk. Herman Miller Aeron chair, because of course. But again, when you come in, look at the floor. The rugs are all in the auction. Great runners, great side rug. There's only one room size rug, but a lot of really nice rugs for the collection. These are really cool African bronze figures. Great size. It can be put on top of something and not be too large, but very, very nice. A lot of little interesting side pieces. A lot of, a couple of antique industrial stools. Very unusual mission oak double plant stand. Never seen this form anywhere. It'd be great on a covered porch. Line it with brass planters. Very, very nice. Very unusual. Stepping back this direction, this is where we have a group of illustration art in the auction. That's with these gray folders. Let's see if I can open up one pretty easily. If not, hopefully I can. They're all in these custom frames and all by artists, recognized artists. And we put in these custom made folders at some point. Very, very nice to be done. We'll get to that later. These all have the not safe for work Japanese wood blocks. I'm not going to open them up now because somebody will flag that video for sure. But if you like that kind of a thing, check out the auction. It's pretty wonderful stuff. This is super cool. I've never seen this pattern in this quantity before. Hull, ebb and flow. All kinds of great sizes, pieces, baskets, vases, tea set. Very, very interesting stuff. Murano, Batosi, Ken Ferguson covered jar is pretty nice. The tray on the bottom is a Danish designer. I forget the name off the top of my head, but very, very good. Stepping back this way is another one of our Mission Oak desks. Neat pair of Art Deco desk lamps, selling as a pair. More artwork. I'm going to step back here. One of my favorite things in the auction is this little 1930s Art Deco bathroom shelf with the, it looks like the original inserted glass. Toothbrush holders right here. The shelf comes in and out. But just a perfect accessory for your 1930s home. This is very, very cool as well. Little Murano glass banjo. Because why not? But very interesting. Came out of the Lawrence collection. Empoli vase. In the showcase here, I have some nice sets of china. Over on this side is the majority of the Rookwood collection. The Rook is over there, but I've not seen these before. The peacock bookends, great glaze on them, great color. And the Rookwood's all in great shape. Really like this little covered jar. Because not only is it covered, it has a lid under the cover. So it looks like a potpourri, but it's actually a covered jar with a lid. But nice to have, nice little Rookwood. Oh, there's the Rook ashtray. This is the most watched piece of Rookwood in the auction. With good reason. It's just a great piece for display. Set it out, and it just has a presence, as all of the Rookwood Rook pieces do. Over to my right is some nice artwork. Love the Pashley bike. It's English. Again, not something we normally sell, but just a nice quality piece. As I walk back across here, the Mission Oak, the arts and crafts pieces all came out of Marvin Hughey's estate, and he was a stained glass artist. And this is a stained glass window he made to advertise his company. Pretty unusual, pretty interesting piece right there. So it's advertising, it's Kansas City, it's stained glass, has a lot of interesting facts and tidbits about it. Woodard iron patio furniture, the Andalusian pattern, set of 4 chairs, 2 arm and 2 sides. Neat old chippy red paint. One seat needs to be touched up a little bit, but other than that, it's very, very cool. What do we have on these shelves over here? Just some nice odds and ends. Little Russell Wright Iroquois. I've always loved that form of ice water pitcher, and all in perfect shape. More Japanese wood blocks, more artwork. These are cool. Love this pair of vases with the dragon forms on them, the big crimped tops. Great size, great scale. This is exactly how they were in the house in Lawrence. On top of this pair of stands that were also purchased from us about 10, 12 years ago from the Hood Estate. Amy, the pedestals are out of the Hood Estate? Which, if you remember, if you've been with us for a while, you remember the Hood Estate was an amazing collection out of Sedalia. We were excited to offer that then and excited to offer these again now. People are responding well to that. Here's the third nice solid Mission Oak library table desk. Just love the graining on the top. Super solid pieces with the bookshelves ends. A little smoking stand here. The door was separate. I think we have to add pictures of this to the auction listing. I don't think we had the door with it in the pictures. So I want to make sure we get that listed in there. I'm going to swing all the way around here. Well, I don't want to bump this lamp off. This pair of rocking chairs it's really interesting. I don't know who made them. Somebody online has the exact same chair with this cutout. It's very distinctive. They're asking over $5,000 for one of these. It's not the same one in 3 different places. Really? Do any of them have it identified? No. So it might just be somebody asked a lot, and the other people are like, well, we can ask a lot for ours too, but. What's that? Oh, so William says that there are 3 different sellers have these outside online, all for over $4,000 each. Nobody has it identified. I know that I've been doing this for 30 years. I've never seen this form, this back cutout before, and we have a pair of them. Are they worth $4,000 a piece? Maybe, but at a minimum, they're just really good, high quality with a very interesting cutout back. Very, very nice. He obviously wanted a Mission Oak coffee table and couldn't find one, so we cut down another desk because that's exactly what this is, but it works perfectly for the cause. I really like this little footstool. The top, the leather's kind of okay, but check out the beautifully pegged construction here on the legs. Nice tapered legs, tapered top, good old set. And then also check out the little scroll right here. There's some really nice details. It's still Mission Oak, but just has some details you don't see on most little stools. Really like the Mission Oak Morris chair. I'm not going to slide back there. It's just maybe I will. Pull this blanket off of there. But it's just a nice, the leather's been replaced, but the chair itself, the frame is a good original. No labels on it, but very well made. This blanket here is 1940s, 50s. Most people call it a Mexican. But just a great graphic blanket. Good size, good condition, and excited out for that. A couple of more contemporary pieces of furniture is the leather wingback. Again, just a really nice quality piece next to a very interesting little marble top table that is very cool, and I'll show you why in a second. The top is adjustable, and it spins like a piano stool to go up or down. I'm not going to go crazy with it, but you can make it higher or lower. Be a great pedestal in an antique shop or art gallery. You could have some fun with it, but it's just a great solid piece of furniture, iron base on there. Nice. There are a lot of good mirrors in this auction as well. I like the French Trumeau mirror with the couple, the courting couple, with the sheep, and flowers on the fields. Good antique piece. Chippendale mirrors, good old one. The little bullseye mirrors are newer, but very nice looking, great. And finding small mirrors is always a challenge. It's finding small mirrors with character is even more so. Mission Oak trash cans, I think there's 3 or 4 of those in the auction. It's the first one I've seen out there I can just point at and kind of get an idea of. Another drop front Mission Oak desk. Again, we have a lot of arts and crafts in the auction. If you like arts and crafts, know somebody who does, make sure they know about this auction. This is super cool. Possibly French. There's no labels on it, no marks on it, but there's a French company that made hand lamps that are very similar, nearly identical. So just a fun piece. And a great little accent piece that would be a little bit of whimsy in any room. Well, we have the showcase here to show some things that are really fun and interesting as well. Sold a coin collection last week. They had some interesting things. And in the boxes of coins was this 1985 World Series. I believe it's a ABC client booth. Games 2, 6, and 7. Cardinals against the Royals. On the back is signed by all kinds of fun people. George Brett, obviously the biggest name there, Royals hero. Brett Saberhagen along the top here. But there's Charlie Lebrand is there. But there's also a couple of St. Louis Cardinals on there. There was John Wathan's a Royal. But kind of interesting to have both teams represented on there. Yeah, Lonnie Smith I saw for sure. He's on there. But just a fun piece. Don't find a lot of multi-signature pieces. Here's some really fun stuff. The same estate that has the French antiques. Of course, they'd have Star Wars and Hot Wheels, right? This woman's son loved Star Wars, collected it, but never played with it because he just loved it so much. And so we have, let me get to the fun ones. Like in this little bag, we have Darth Vader and Obi-Wan Kenobi. And these are the original, the extending lightsabers with the full length on the sabers. There's Luke Skywalker and Princess Leia. There's all kinds of great figures in this little collection. There's also the more common ones. There's on the bottom shelves are these collector cases of Matchbox and Hot Wheels, and we're selling these by the case. So, trays full of cars, including red lines and all kinds of fun stuff. So, those are all really fun pieces. In the showcase right there, the big bronze African Turk. Never seen one anything like that size before. Pretty interesting. But folks, you can tell this is a really exciting auction. A lot of really interesting things all the way throughout, over 500 lots. If you have questions, let us know. But otherwise, good luck in the auction, and we'll see you at pickup, and we're happy to ship for you across the country. Have a great day, and good luck in the auction.